how can we find a sense of profound peace, of enlightenment, not in a remote monastery on a mountaintop, but right here in the middle of our chaotic, everyday lives? Part 1. It's a question that feels more urgent than ever. Doesn't it? We live in a world of constant motion. Our days are filled with to-do lists, notifications, and an endless stream of information. Our minds are always somewhere else. When we're at work, we're thinking about what we need to do at home. When we're at home, we're worrying about a deadline at work. We get through the morning commute so we can get to the office. We get through the workday so we can get to the evening. We get through the week so we can finally collapse on the weekend. We live our lives in a state of perpetual waiting for that next vacation, the next promotion, the next big thing that we believe will finally grant us permission to feel at peace. But what if peace isn't out there somewhere in the future? What if it's already here right now, hidden in the very moments we rush through and overlook? What if the key to a more profound existence isn't about adding more to our lives, but about fully inhabiting the life we already have? In this first part of our journey together, we will explore the Buddha's most foundational answer to this question. It's a practice so simple, so accessible. It can be done while you're washing the dishes, drinking your morning coffee, or waiting in line at the grocery store. It is an answer that, if you truly engage with it, can begin to change absolutely everything. To understand this practice, we first need to understand a simple term that you've probably heard before, but perhaps in a way that doesn't capture its full depth. That term is mindfulness. In Pali, the language of the early Buddhist texts, the word is sati, and it means more than just paying attention or being present. It's a quality of gentle, non-judgmental awareness of what is happening as it is happening. It's not about controlling your thoughts or forcing yourself to feel calm. It's simply about noticing. And what are we supposed to notice? The practice begins with the mundane, the ordinary, repetitive, seemingly insignificant tasks that make up the fabric of our days. Think about your morning routine: making the coffee, brushing your teeth, taking a shower. How often are you truly there for any of it? Usually, our bodies are on autopilot, while our minds are already racing ahead, planning, worrying, rehearsing conversations. We treat these moments as obstacles to be overcome on the way to the important parts of our day. The great Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh often used the example of washing the dishes. He said that if you are rushing to wash the dishes in order to get to dessert, then you are incapable of actually enjoying the dessert when you get to it. You will have been conditioned to rush through the present to get to the future. He taught that there are two ways to wash the dishes. The first is to wash the dishes in order to have clean dishes. The second is to wash the dishes in order to wash the dishes. Think about that for a moment. To wash the dishes, just to wash the dishes. This means feeling the warmth of the water on your hands, seeing the iridescent bubbles of the soap, hearing the sound of a plate being rinsed clean. The miracle isn't in having a stack of clean dishes at the end. The miracle is that you are standing there, alive, breathing, and able to perform this simple act. Our usual state of mind can be compared to a storm-tossed sea, waves of thought and emotion crashing into each other constantly. Or maybe a drunken monkey, as some traditions call it, jumping restlessly from one branch to the next. Mindfulness is the practice of becoming the calm, deep ocean beneath the waves. It's becoming the vast, open sky that holds all the clouds, the thoughts, the feelings, the sensations, without being defined by them. The clouds come and go, but the sky remains. This leads us to a simple logical progression. Most of our anxiety, our stress, our dissatisfaction comes from the fact that our minds are not where our bodies are. We are either caught in regret and rumination about the past, or we are consumed by anxiety and planning for the future. The one place we are rarely found is here, in the present moment, which is, ironically, the only place where life is actually happening. By bringing our full, gentle attention to a simple, mundane task, we anchor our wandering minds in the now. We tether the drunken monkey to the present, and in this now, we can discover a surprising richness, a quiet joy, a profound sense of peace that we've been searching for everywhere else. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds nice, but I don't have time for this. My life is too busy. I need to be efficient, to multitask, just to keep my head above water. This is a very common misconception. We believe that our mental multitasking makes us more productive. But what if the opposite is true? What if this constant splitting of our attention is what's truly draining our energy, leading to burnout and mistakes? What if bringing a focused, singular attention to each task actually makes you more effective, more creative, and less stressed? Another misunderstanding is that mindfulness is about emptying your mind or stopping your thoughts. This is impossible, and trying to do it only creates more tension. Mindfulness is not a battle against your thoughts. It is the simple, gentle act of noticing what's in your mind without getting swept away by the current. The Buddha, in a foundational text called the Satipatthana Sutta, didn't instruct his followers to stop thinking or feeling. He taught them to be aware of the body in the body, of feelings in the feelings, of the mind in the mind, simply observing, without attachment or aversion. So what does this actually mean for you tomorrow morning when your alarm goes off? It means that your morning coffee can become a 5-minute meditation instead of just a caffeine delivery system. Instead of scrolling through your phone while you drink it, just drink it. Notice the warmth of the mug in your hands. Inhale the rich aroma. Feel the warmth of the liquid as you swallow. Experience the simple, profound pleasure of a cup of coffee. It means the stress you feel during your commute isn't just about the traffic. It's about your mental and emotional resistance to the traffic. You are fighting a reality you cannot change. The practice here isn't to pretend you enjoy the traffic jam. The practice is to notice your resistance. Feel the tension in your shoulders, the grip on the steering wheel, the frustrated thoughts racing through your mind. Simply notice them, without judgment, and then bring your attention to the physical reality of the moment, the feeling of the seat supporting you, the sound of the engine, the rhythm of your own breath. You may find, to your surprise, a small pocket of stillness, a quiet center, even in the midst of gridlock. So, here's my invitation to you. For the next week, choose one mundane activity. Just one. It could be brushing your teeth. It could be making your bed. It could be the walk from your car to your office door. And for those few minutes, dedicate yourself to doing only that. No podcasts, no mental planning, no rehashing old conversations. Just be there. Feel the bristles of the toothbrush on your gums. Notice the crisp texture of the sheets as you pull them smooth. Feel the sensation of your feet on the pavement with each step. That's all. Just be there and see what you discover. So, returning to our initial question, How do we find enlightenment in daily life? We have now seen that the first crucial step isn't about adding something new or exotic to our lives. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about learning to fully inhabit the life we are already living. It's about discovering the art of seeing the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary through the simple power of mindful observation. This practice teaches us a profound truth. We don't need to escape our lives to find peace. We don't need to wait for the perfect conditions. Peace is waiting for us right here, in the steam rising from a cup of tea, in the rhythm of our own breath, in the simple act of being fully, completely here. The sacred is not somewhere else. It is woven into the very fabric of our everyday world, waiting to be noticed. What mundane activity will you choose to practice with this week? I'd love for you to share your choice in the comments below. If you found this first step meaningful, please press the like button and subscribe to our channel, Buddhism Wisdom Spirituality, so you don't miss the next part of our journey. Because in our next episode, we will build upon this foundation of awareness. Once we learn to see our world clearly, a new question arises. How do we relate to what we see, especially when it's difficult? We'll explore how to transform our relationship with challenging emotions and the people around us through the second practice, the practice of compassionate awareness. Part 2. In our last conversation, we discovered the first key to finding enlightenment in daily life, the art of seeing the sacred in the mundane. We learned that by bringing our full, non-judgmental attention to the simple acts of our day, we can anchor ourselves in the present moment and find a peace we thought was only available in some far-off future. But this practice inevitably leads to a crucial question. What happens when what we observe isn't pleasant? What do we do when the present moment isn't a warm cup of coffee, but a wave of anxiety? What happens when our mindful observation reveals not the beauty of soap bubbles, but the sting of a critical comment, the heat of anger, or the deep, cold ache of sadness? How do we stay present with that? This is a universal experience. We all face difficult emotions. That sudden flash of rage when a colleague undermines us in a meeting. That sharp pang of jealousy when we see a friend's seemingly perfect life on social media. The persistent, low-level hum of anxiety about the future. Our natural, deeply ingrained instinct is to do one of two things. Either we push these feelings away, we suppress them, telling ourselves, I shouldn't feel this way. Or we do the opposite. We get completely lost in them. We become them. Our inner monologue shifts from, I am feeling anger, to, I am angry. The feeling takes over the entire house. Today, we explore the second practice, a way to not just observe our inner world, but to hold it with a courageous kindness and a profound wisdom. We will delve into the Buddhist teachings on how to cultivate a compassionate awareness, a practice that has the power to fundamentally transform our relationship with ourselves, and in doing so, our relationship with everyone we meet. The key terms here are loving kindness and compassion. In Pali, these are metta and karuna. Loving kindness, or metta, is a gentle, friendly warmth, and unconditional well-wishing for ourselves and for all beings. Compassion, or karuna, is its partner. It is the active wish for ourselves and for all beings to be free from suffering. This isn't a passive feeling of pity. It is a courageous and resilient state of heart, and it connects directly to our first practice. If mindfulness is the clear awareness of what is happening, then compassion is the warm and spacious attitude we bring to that awareness. Let me offer a metaphor. Imagine you are holding a small, crying baby. If the baby is crying, you don't get angry at it. You don't shout at it to be quiet or try to pretend it isn't there. That would be absurd and cruel. Instead, you hold it gently. You acknowledge its distress. You rock it. You offer comfort. You create a safe space for its pain to exist. And eventually, the crying subsides. Now, think of your own difficult emotions, your anger, your fear, your loneliness. These are the crying babies inside of you. For years, maybe your whole life, you've been either yelling at them to shut up or abandoning them entirely. The practice of compassionate awareness invites you to do something radical, to gently pick up that crying baby, to hold your own pain with a tender and unconditional acceptance. This leads to a profound shift in our experience. In our first practice, mindful observation, we learn to notice what is arising. We might say to ourselves, there is a feeling of anxiety. Our typical reaction is to immediately judge it or identify with it. I am anxious. I hate this feeling. I need to get rid of it. This is resistance, and resistance is like pouring gasoline on a fire. It only intensifies the suffering. The practice of compassionate awareness introduces a new revolutionary step. We notice the anxiety, and then, instead of resisting, we soften around it. We can even say internally, I see you, anxiety. It's okay that you're here. May this feeling be held with kindness. This simple shift creates space. It creates a little bit of breathing room between you and the emotion. And in that space, something incredible happens. We begin to see the emotion not as a solid, permanent part of us, but as a temporary weather pattern passing through the vast sky of our awareness. This is the practical lived experience of one of Buddhism's most challenging concepts, not self, or anatta. You are not your anger. You are not your anxiety. You are the awareness that is capable of noticing the anger and the anxiety. This realization is the beginning of true freedom. Now, a common misconception often arises here. Many people in the West, when they hear the term self-compassion, think it sounds selfish, or that it means letting yourself off the hook for your mistakes. If I'm kind to myself when I fail, won't I just become lazy and complacent? But this is a deep misunderstanding. True self-compassion is not self-pity or excuse-making. In fact, it's the very foundation for real, sustainable change. Think about it. You cannot heal a wound by hating it or pretending it isn't there. You can only heal it by cleaning it, tending to it, and giving it the care it needs to mend. Self-compassion is the courage to face our imperfections without shame, which is the only way we can ever learn from them. Another misunderstanding is that compassion is a weakness, that it's soft or passive. On the contrary, it takes immense strength to stay present with pain, our own or someone else's, without shutting down or turning away. The Zen teacher Pema Chodron has a beautiful way of putting it. You are the sky. Everything else, it's just the weather. Cultivating compassion is developing a sky-like mind, vast enough and stable enough to hold any weather pattern that comes through. So, what does this look like in your actual life? Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Your immediate autopilot reaction might be a surge of anger and a stream of insults. The first practice, mindfulness, is to simply notice that surge. Wow, there's a lot of anger here. The second practice, compassionate awareness, is to work with it. Instead of laying on the horn, you might take a breath and place a hand on your own chest, feeling the agitated energy. Internally, you could say, "This is a moment of suffering. This feels really unpleasant. May I be at ease?" This doesn't condone the other driver's actions. It frees you from being consumed by the poison of your own rage. You might even find the space to extend that compassion outwards. That person must be in a terrible hurry or deeply distracted. May they be safe and find peace. This practice is even more crucial in how we talk to ourselves. We all have an inner critic, and for many of us, that voice is relentless. When you make a mistake at work, instead of the usual inner monologue of, "I'm such an idiot, I always mess things up," you can pause. Notice the feeling of shame or disappointment, and then offer yourself the same kindness you would offer a good friend. "That was a mistake. It feels bad, but it's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. May I learn from this and be kind to myself in this moment?" So I'd like to invite you to try a simple formal practice this week. Each morning, before you even get out of bed, just as you're waking up, take 3 conscious breaths. On the first inhale and exhale, say to yourself, "May I be safe." On the second breath, "May I be happy." And on the third breath, "May I be at ease." That's it. Just 3 breaths. Start by offering this gentle kindness to yourself. Notice how this simple, radical act of friendship towards yourself begins to change the color and texture of your day. So, if the first step to enlightenment in daily life is to learn to see our lives clearly, the second, essential step is to learn to see with a kind heart. We've learned today that compassionate awareness allows us to meet our own suffering, and by extension, the suffering of others, not with resistance and judgment, but with a courageous and gentle embrace. True strength, we are discovering, is not the absence of difficult feelings. True strength is the capacity of your heart to hold them all. When your awareness becomes as vast and open as the sky, the inevitable storms of life can pass through without destroying you. Have you ever tried to meet a difficult emotion with kindness instead of judgment? What was that experience like for you? I'd genuinely love to hear your story, so please share your experience in the comments. If this conversation resonated with you, please show your support by liking this video and subscribing to Buddhism Wisdom, Spirituality. Now that we have learned to observe our experience and to hold it with kindness, we are ready for the final, most liberating step on this path. We are ready to ask the question, what do we do with the things we've been holding on to for so long? Join us in part 3 as we explore the profound and life-changing practice of letting go. Part 3. In our journey together to find enlightenment in daily life, we have walked 2 crucial paths. First, we learn to see our world with clarity through the art of mindful observation. Second, we learned to hold what we see with a warm and courageous heart through the practice of compassionate awareness. We've learned to see clearly, and we've learned to see kindly. But there is a final piece to this profound puzzle. We've observed the constant flow of our thoughts and feelings. We've learned to meet them with kindness instead of fear. And yet, many of us still feel heavy. We are still carrying so much. The old hurts from past relationships, the anxieties about a future we can't control, the rigid ideas of who we are supposed to be. Our minds and hearts can feel like a clenched fist, holding on so tightly. So the final question is, how do we learn to unclench that fist? How do we finally, truly let go? We all know this feeling of being weighed down. It's the mental and emotional baggage we carry with us everywhere we go. It's the grudge you still hold against a family member for something they said 10 years ago. It's the constant replaying of an embarrassing moment from high school. It's the desperate, white-knuckled clinging to a specific outcome for our career, our children, or our health. It is utterly exhausting. We walk through life carrying this enormous invisible backpack, and we've been carrying it for so long, we don't even remember putting half the stuff in there. We just know that it's heavy. In this final chapter of our series, we will explore the third and perhaps most transformative practice for finding enlightenment in daily life, the profound art of letting go. We will look at what the Buddha truly meant by this concept, not as an act of passive resignation or apathy, but as a dynamic, intelligent, and deeply liberating path to genuine peace. To understand letting go, we must first understand what we are holding on to. The Buddhist term for this is upadana, which is often translated as clinging or attachment. The Buddha taught that clinging is the direct root of our suffering, or dukkha. Now, this is a critical point. It is not the things themselves that cause us to suffer. Money is not the problem. Relationships are not the problem. Our bodies are not the problem. It is our clinging to them, our desperate attachment to having them be a certain way, permanent, predictable, and pleasing to us, that causes our pain. This connects directly back to what we saw in our first practice, the reality of impermanence or anicca. Everything changes. Thoughts, feelings, relationships, our bodies, life itself. It is all in a constant state of flux. Our suffering arises from a very simple, very human conflict. We try to build a permanent home on shifting sands. We try to hold on to things that are, by their very nature, unholdable. There's a classic metaphor used to describe this. Imagine a monkey trap, which in some parts of the world is a coconut with a small hole carved in it, just big enough for a monkey's open hand to fit through. Inside the coconut is a sweet rice cake. The monkey reaches in and grabs the rice cake, but now its fist, clenched around the prize, is too big to pull back out through the hole. The monkey is trapped. But what is trapping it? It is not the coconut. It is the monkey's own refusal to let go of the rice cake. To be free, all it has to do is open its hand. Our attachments to our ideas, our possessions, our identities, these are our rice cakes. Letting go, then, is the practice of opening our hand. It's like trying to hold water. The tighter you squeeze your fist, the faster the water slips through your fingers. But if you simply open your palm and cup your hand gently, you can hold it. Letting go isn't losing something. It's adopting a gentler, more open relationship with everything. This practice is the natural culmination of the first two. First, through mindful observation, we see clearly that everything is impermanent. We watch a feeling of joy arise, and we watch it pass. We watch a feeling of sadness arise, and we watch it pass. we see that nothing is solid. Second, through compassionate awareness, we learn to be okay with this flow. We learn to greet the joy and the sadness with the same gentle, accepting heart. Letting go is the natural, logical result of these two insights. When you truly see that something is temporary by nature, and you learn that you have the capacity to be with that temporary experience without falling apart, the desperate need to cling to it, to control it, simply begins to dissolve. Now, we must address a major fear that arises here. The fear is that letting go means becoming a passionless, disconnected robot. We think, if I let go, does that mean I won't love my family anymore? That I won't have ambitious goals? This is the absolute opposite of the truth. What you are letting go of is not love, but possessive attachment. You're not letting go of your goals, but of your rigid, self-destructive attachment to the outcome. This is a liberating shift. It means you can pour your whole heart into a project at work, not because your self-worth depends on its success, but for the joy of the creative process itself. It means you can love your children, your partner, your friends, completely and wholeheartedly, without being constantly crippled by the fear of losing them. You love them more freely, more purely. As the Thai meditation master Ajahn Chah famously said, if you let go a little, you will have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of peace. If you let go completely, you will have complete peace. So, what does this mean for you in your life? It means when you find yourself in a heated argument with your partner, you can practice letting go of the intense need to be right. When you let go of that need, a space opens up for you to actually listen, to try to understand. It means when a project at work fails, you can practice letting go of the story of, I'm a failure. You can see it not as a verdict on your worth, but as an experience, a data point, a lesson. It means you can finally forgive someone who hurt you, not because they necessarily deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. Forgiveness is a profound act of letting go of the burden of anger that you have been carrying for so long. The breath is our greatest teacher in this practice. You cannot hold on to an inhale. It becomes stale, useless. To receive the next life-giving breath, you must first completely, fully let the old one go. So, my final invitation to you is to practice with the breath. For a few minutes each day, simply sit and watch your breathing. Pay attention to the feeling of the full inhale, the nourishment of receiving, and then pay even closer attention to the complete release of the exhale. With each exhale, imagine you are letting go of one small thing you're clinging to, a tension in your shoulders, a recurring worry, a nagging thought. Inhale, receive. Exhale, release. This is the rhythm of life itself. So, we return to our question one last time. How do we find enlightenment in our daily lives? We have seen now that it is a threefold path that unfolds right where we are, in the midst of our ordinary existence. First, we learn to see our lives as they truly are, with the clear, steady light of mindful observation. Second, we learn to hold all of our experience, the pleasant and the unpleasant, with the warmth of a compassionate heart. And finally, we learn to release our tight grip on a changing world through the wise and liberating practice of letting go, seeing, holding, and releasing. This is the path. Enlightenment isn't a final destination you arrive at. a trophy you get to put on a shelf. It is the moment-to-moment practice of opening up to your life just as it is, with clarity and with kindness. It's the profound freedom that comes not from finally changing your circumstances to be exactly as you want them, but from changing your relationship to your circumstances. It is the stunning realization that you don't need to be anywhere else, doing anything else, or be anyone else. Everything you have ever been searching for, peace, freedom, love, is available right here in this breath, in this moment, in you. What is one thing, however small, that you are ready to start letting go of? Please share your reflections in the comments below. This community is a place for us to support one another on this beautiful, challenging journey. If this series has been helpful for you, please don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to Buddhism Wisdom, spirituality for more explorations into a more mindful and meaningful life. Thank you for walking this path with us. Be well.